Have you ever felt like you were sinking? Maybe life became too hard. Maybe fear took over. Maybe you felt completely alone in the middle of a storm. Now imagine this. It is the middle of the night. Strong winds are shaking a small boat. Huge waves crash from every side. The disciples of Jesus think they might die. Then suddenly, they see a figure walking toward them, on top of the water. Who was it, and what happened next? Stay with me, because this amazing story has a powerful message that still speaks to us today. This story took place around 2,000 years ago near the Sea of Galilee, a large lake in northern Israel. Jesus had become well known. Crowds followed him everywhere because they wanted to hear his teachings and witness his miracles. Just before this event, Jesus had performed one of his most famous miracles. He fed more than 5,000 people with only a few loaves of bread and a few fish. The crowd was amazed. After that, Jesus told his disciples to get into a boat and cross the lake ahead of him. He wanted some time alone to pray. The disciples obeyed and started their journey across the water. Meanwhile, Jesus went up a mountainside by himself. As evening turned into night, the disciples were far from shore. The weather changed. Strong winds began to blow. The water became rough. What started as a normal trip suddenly became a dangerous struggle. And that is where our story begins. The night was dark. The disciples were alone in a small boat on the Sea of Galilee. The wind pushed against them. The waves crashed over the sides of the boat. They rowed with all their strength, but it felt like they were getting nowhere. Hour after hour passed. Their arms were tired. Their bodies were exhausted. Fear slowly began to fill their hearts. What if the boat sank? What if they never made it to shore? The storm showed no sign of stopping. Then, sometime before dawn, something happened that nobody expected. One of the disciples looked into the darkness. At first, he thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. There was a figure out on the water, but this person was not swimming. He was not floating on a piece of wood. He was walking directly on top of the waves. The disciples were terrified. They cried out in fear. Some believed they were seeing a ghost. The sight was impossible. No human being could walk on water. Then a familiar voice came from the door. "Take courage. It is I. Do not be afraid." It was Jesus. Imagine what the disciples must have felt. Only moments before, they were filled with fear. Now they realized that Jesus was standing right there in the middle of the storm. But the story was not over. One disciple, Peter, looked at Jesus and said, "Lord, if it is written, tell me to come to you on the water." Jesus answered with one simple word, "Come." Peter climbed over the side of the boat. Think about that for a moment. The wind was still blowing. The waves were still crashing. The storm had disappeared. Yet Peter stepped out anyway. He placed one foot on the water, then the other, and something incredible happened. strengthened their faith forever. They would never forget that night. And neither could Peter, because in that dark and stormy sea, he learned a lesson that would stay with him for the rest of his life. This story is about much more than walking on water. It is about faith. We all face storms in life. Sometimes those storms are problems and worry. Sometimes they are money troubles. Sometimes they are sickness, fear, stress, or loneliness. Just like the disciples, we can feel overwhelmed by the waves around us. Peter teaches us something important. As long as he focused on Jesus and heaven, focused only on the storm, fear took over and began to sink. The same thing can happen in our lives. When we focus only on the problems, fear grows. When we hold on to faith, we find strength to keep going. Another beautiful lesson is that Jesus did not abandon Peter when he failed. The moment Peter cried for help, Jesus reached out his hand. That reminds us that even when we struggle, even when we doubt, help is never far away. Faith does not mean storms will never come. Faith means we do not face them alone. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to support the channel. Subscribe for more inspiring Bible stories, powerful lessons, and faith-filled content. Leave a comment below and tell us, what is the biggest storm you have overcome in your life? And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it with someone who needs encouragement today. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you.